everybody. I know that this isn't as crazy for you guys as it is for us, but me and Arika haven't talked in like 6 weeks.
Yeah, like so long. It's actually been insane. We haven't even texted crazy. Too because Marissa's been out of the country, so we just been waiting for this day.
I know. It's so crazy.
So weird, honestly. But when Angelo and I got on last night, I was like, I kind of forget. How do I podcast?
I know. It's so crazy. Like, we actually haven't talked in so long, so we have so much to catch up on, but we're back in the flow of things. We're back. We're doing We Run on Coffee. So first off, Arika, what are you drinking?
Coffee. Yay. In last week's episode to you all, I was drinking wine. So this is a little bit of a plot twist. I am drinking coffee. I'm drinking let me think about this, honey brown sugar maple latte with cinnamon on top. Just a classic fall, getting ready for the Thanksgiving week ahead as we're filming. I'm so excited because I'm going to see Marissa in 3 days.
I know.
I'm shook. Anyways, that's what I'm drinking. What about you?
I made a coffee as well. So I have been making these shaken espressos. I've just been using our cocktail shaker, and I've been using it depends on what mood I'm in, what I'm putting in with the espresso. So today I used a peppermint hot chocolate mix.
Whoa.
So it's like a peppermint mocha shaken espresso, and it's good.
Yes. I love that for you. Oh my God.
I just wanted to get in the holiday spirit a little bit. I was thinking about going and getting like a Dunkin' holiday latte, but I chose against it
have you had the cookie butter latte?
I have not. Not this year. I had it last year.
That's just my favorite. I just love it.
I might have to go and get it later this week.
Maybe
you and I run away to Dunkin'.
Yes. Yeah, I've had 3 this year already, and I'm like, every time I go to Dunkin', I'm getting my cookie butter cold brew before it's gone for the season because it's my personal favorite Dunkin' drink.
I know, and I love the chestnut praline, and I know we've talked about this about Starbucks before too. And I have gotten a chestnut praline latte. I think I've gotten 2. So.
Oh my God, I love that for you. I did get my birthday Starbucks yesterday for free, but I didn't get a coffee drink because I got it at like 6 p.m. So I got a frozen. I didn't know they did this now, but they do the refreshers as frozen drinks. I saw the like the signage for it, but I haven't tried them. I tried them when I worked there. Like I would just like make it myself, and I don't know if they changed the recipe to like I don't know. We weren't allowed to blend them because it was just going to be like icy, but I wonder if they changed the recipe to make it less It was icy. A tiny bit icy, but they used lemonade in it too, like a lemonade refresher, so it was good, but it wasn't anything crazy special to me, but it was good. Like I drank the whole thing. I got a train tub because it was my birthday and it was free. $7 so freezy thing for free.
That's crazy. Well, yeah, if you guys can't tell, it was Erica's birthday yesterday. So if you know who we are as actual people and not just fans of the podcast, we are a little bit behind on recording and everything just because
we have a lag.
We have a little bit of a lag. Crazy. Because lives are crazy. And like Arika said, she's coming to visit me this week for Thanksgiving. And now that you're listening to this, I'm finally actually married.
Wait, that's so weird to say.
We're back from the honeymoon. I know the word husband is still so icky and weird. Yeah. And I've never really had to like say it to anybody yet because like everybody knew that I was getting married. So I'm just like, oh, it's Kyle.
It's just Kyle.
Yes.
Now, husband Kyle.
Yeah.
So
Ew,
weird.
It's so weird. But do you have any crazy updates or crazy questions that you want me to talk about on this recap episode?
No, and not in particular. I just want to say it was the best, like most beautiful wedding. It was so fun. And you'll hear this on Angela's episode. Listeners have already heard it, but Angela was just saying like, this is the closest he's ever been to a bride and groom at a wedding he's been to. It's not like, a distant family member that I see once a year. He was like, this is the closest I've been. And that was special. He just like loved it. And so we had the best time.
I know. I was just excited. It was so weird because I've only been to 3 weddings before, and like that's not a lot of experience like when you're the one getting married. So
literally
it was really interesting because the first wedding I ever went to, I wasn't super close to the people, but the second 2 weddings I was close to the people. So it was really fun and exciting. But now I'm like, I can't wait for all of my friends to start getting married because of course I had to be the first one. But I'm so excited to like see everybody get married so that I can like I know how like lovey-dovey it looked from us, but I'm excited to see like the lovey-doveyness from everybody else, you know?
Yes. And I'm like, I died when you posted your sneak peek photos from the photographer. If you guys haven't seen them, go on Marissa's Instagram from the wedding photos, and the honeymoon photos too, obviously. But like,
I know I'm so behind on posting my honeymoon recap photo dumps. I was trying to do like every other day, and I've still only got through the first 3 locations.
Literally. No, I always do that. If you guys know about my travel Instagram, I just like, it just never happens. I'm so slow on it, but it's so fun to relive. So you can drag it out.
I know. I'm trying my best.
Okay. Well, I'm really excited to talk about the wedding and podcast. No, talk about the wedding and honeymoon for all the followers, because I don't know anything about the honeymoon either, except the picture. So
I know I didn't tell you anything. And I'm just going to show you my notes app of all of the notes that I have to share with you.
Oh, so many. Holy crap. I'm excited.
I came prepared.
Yes. She's prepared, queen.
Every day we would like get back on the boat from whatever we were doing that day. I was like, Kyle, I have to write my list for the podcast.
I love it. That is so good. Wow. We got like really fresh insights then.
We do. Ooh. So first we can do like a little wedding recap. Yes. So I'll talk about, I guess, like the timeline of things. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay. So we started in the morning around 8 a.m. We got up and we all went to breakfast together, which I loved that we did that. It was the whole wedding party and like all the significant others that had stayed with us like the night before after the rehearsal dinner. And then we all went to get breakfast and it was amazing. And me and Kyle surprised everybody by paying for breakfast.
Oh, that's so nice.
They all got so mad at us because Kyle's sister Natalie was trying to pay for like us, and also Kyle's best man Dakota was trying to pay for the 2 of us, and we were like, actually it's all covered.
Yeah, that is such a moment though. That always happens. I feel like I'm always trying to be nice and like pay when I can, and then other people are like, no, I'm paying, and then it turns into a paying fight.
I know, but it's such a fun paying fight sometimes. And like we had nice. this like little cafe, it was like we were able to go up to like the register to like order coffees separate from like where we were sitting. And so I walked up with Natalie because she wanted to get a coffee, and I noticed that they didn't have any alternative milk, so I couldn't get a coffee. But she was like, oh, I'm gonna order mine. And then she was like, okay, we'll just bring it to your table, like thanks for coming up. And we just stayed, and she was like, oh, are you gonna get something? I was like, I'm not sure yet. And Kyle like came up with me and she was like, Kyle, are you gonna get anything? He was like, no, I'm just like waiting up here with her to see if she gets anything. And so we like stopped the waitress and we're like, here's the card. Can you please just pay for everything and bring it back when we're done? And she was like, are you the ones getting married? And we were like, yeah, but it's okay.
That's cute. I love that though. That is so sweet.
Yes. And then we came back and the boys just kind of played some football outside. I don't really know. Classic. That was Natalie's husband's idea.
Such a boy move to like just do nothing before the wedding. They like not preparing, not nervous. They're just chilling. Okay.
I know. And then me and all the girls went down to the, like, so I've kind of explained the layout of the place before, but we went down the hill to the wedding venue. We went into the bridal suite to, like, start getting ready. And I honestly kind of waited. I let all the bridesmaids get ready, and then I got ready last. And the photographer showed up. I was talking to her, and Natalie was down there helping set up the flowers. And there was one fiasco with the flowers. They did not have a groomsman's boutonniere. They didn't have the groom's boutonniere.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. They didn't have Kyle's. So I was like freaking out. Natalie came up and she was like, don't freak out. They don't have a groom's boutonniere. And I was like, great. Like, and cool. she was like, so she can go back, make another one, or what do you want to do? And I was like, tell her to take flowers out of the arbor center, like the arbor piece, and just make him a boutonniere. She was like, perfect, got it. So she went down. They did that for us.
Good.
And that was all figured out. And then the next thing was, hopefully people aren't going to get mad at me for this, but the wedding coordinator was not doing a great job on the day of the wedding.
Yeah.
She said that she was going to be at the venue at 11 a.m. She did not show up until 2:30.
Ooh, that's a long time. That's not just like 30 minutes.
Photos started at like 1:30, and I think that's when she like first popped her head in, but that was because I was like, guys, I don't know where she's at. Like, I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do.
Find
like,
her.
Yeah. And so 2 of my bridesmaids did run up and go and find her. And once they found her, she was like, oh, what do you need? And I was like, what do you mean? What do I need? Go and like do your job, like coordinate people.
Yeah.
And she was like, I didn't say that, obviously, but I didn't know like really what to say. I was like, oh, I just wanted to make sure everything's like lining up, like things are happening.
Yeah.
And they didn't put out the chairs to the longest time. And I was freaking out that the chairs weren't getting put out because it was raining a little bit. And I was freaking out about that. So that was like the other fiasco. It wasn't really a fiasco. It was just frustrating.
A stress. Yeah, it was a stress.
And then we all finished getting ready and everything, and we started heading to line up. And she was like, all right, we're going to start a little bit early just because there's rain projected. We're going to get started. And it was like 10 minutes early, I think. Mostly everybody was there. I think there was like 5 stragglers that kind of came in at the end. But we all got started, and so everybody started walking. And as soon as like the third set of bridesmaids and groomsmen walked down, it started pouring.
I know, it was so weird. It was like, oh, it's not gonna rain. How wonderful. Like we were all like, oh my gosh, it's gonna hold out for them. And it held out until you came.
I know. And it literally started pouring. It was like the third or the fourth set of, there was 5 sets of the groomsmen and bridesmaids. And it was like the third or fourth set when it started pouring. And we didn't have the umbrellas because we were like, oh, it's going to hold out.
Yeah.
So they were all up in the bridal room with me. And so I like started throwing them at the wedding coordinator. I was like, you have to get them down there. Like their hair is going to be ruined. And so I was freaking out about that. And she was like, I'll take them down. I'll take them down. But she was like, I'm going to wait until you get down. So they're just going to have to stand in the rain for a little. I was like, okay, whatever. So we start walking down, and then Michelle, Kyle's other sister, and the flower girl start walking down the hill. Michelle starts to slide down the hill while she's carrying Jamie. And so my dad had to run down the hill. And mind you, this is the person that goes right before the bride and like the parents. And so he had to run down the hill, help Michelle the rest of the way down the hill. And then he had to run back up.
To get ready for you.
I know. Luckily, there was enough time, and like we had to walk super slow for all the reasons for like music and timing and stuff. So he was able to help her down to like there was a little bridge area, and then he was able to run back up. And he held the umbrella while I was like locked arms with both of my parents since they both walked me down, and that was really helpful because it kind of kept us all stable having the 3 people. True. I think it was just me and my dad. We would have been so unstable trying to walk down that hill.
I know.
And as soon as I got to like the end of the aisle, it stopped raining.
Yes.
And it was perfect timing, but we still had the umbrella for the photos. So we kind of like did the flip flop. Like my dad handed the umbrella to Kyle, gave him like the hug. My mom gave him a hug. I gave my parents a hug. And then Kyle held the umbrella. And it worked out perfect because I was trying to figure out the best way to tell him, like, hey, turn around, hand it off to Dakota right before we do the kiss. But he knew exactly what to do. And I think it worked perfectly because he handed it off to Dakota and then we kissed. And then he turned back around, got it from Dakota, and we walked.
Kyle! Wow, husband Kyle really stepped it up. He knew.
I know.
That's so good.
In case anybody's curious, Kyle did sob like a baby during the vows.
It was so sweet. It's really what broke the audience.
I know.
Like audience is a weird word, but like the rest of us watching, as soon as that happened, we were like, okay, we're done. We're crying.
I know. And like I was like, Julie, she reached out to me and she was like, I could tell that your voice started breaking and it sent me over the edge.
Literally. No, literally. Everything. It was so cute though. Every time that Marissa did like a little squeal or like a little happy dance, everybody would just laugh because we just could it was so happy. It was so cute.
Yeah. And it was like, it was perfect. We did like all the normal vows and stuff, which like, I didn't really want anything different. If we're going to share special words to each other, we're going to do it alone, not in front of people, because I'm going to get like stage fright or something and freak out. So it was really nice that we just did like the normal stuff. But the normal stuff is so sweet and like cute. And it like obviously broke us both because we were crying.
Yes. No, it was so cute.
I just had to like giggle and squeal because I was so excited because I'd like every single time that he said a line that we had to repeat, I was like, oh my gosh, we're getting so much closer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just like making me excited.
That's so crazy. The one thing that I like, I don't know if Kyle remembers it or not, or even like looked at me. I think he did. But everybody, we heard the music change. We heard Marissa starting to come down the aisle. The guy asks everyone, like, if you aren't standing, please stand up. We stand up. Everyone's looking at Marissa, waiting for Marissa to come down the aisle. I'm thinking about Kyle. I turn around. I'm like the only one looking at Kyle, and we make eye contact, and I just wink at him, and then I turn back around, and I was just like you got this, dude. Like, this is awesome.
Aww.
And I was just like, I love them. Like, I was just so happy. And then I turned around and I saw you coming, and then I looked back at Kyle, and then he's already starting to like get really emotional, and I was just like, it's just been a long time coming.
Yeah, we did the first look and he did not cry at all, and neither did I during the first look. And I was so shocked because I really thought that was going to be the time that we both cried. And then he was like, as soon as I saw you walking down the hill, I broke down. And I was like, oh, good. Aww, sorry.
That's so cute.
I was like, really? Because when I got down there, you weren't crying anymore. He's like, yeah, I kind of I had calmed down by the time that you got down there. But as soon as we started talking and everything, we both started crying. And I saw the one little tear drip down his face. And I was like, I can't do this anymore.
It was so cute. Actually, I showed my mom the photos that you posted on Instagram. And my mom even said, this is back to the umbrellas, but she was like, did it actually rain? Or was that just because they wanted to be cute? And I was like, no, it actually did rain. And it actually is so cute.
I know. I love that one sneak peek photo of us walking down the aisle with the umbrella. I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's literally perfect. My mom was like, did it really rain? And I was like, no, it really did. It literally looks staged. It's so good.
But you can kind of tell, I think, in the photos a little bit, because you can tell it's dark and dreary a little bit. You can tell it's a little bit gloomy out, and the way that she edited them, a darker style, I love that, because I think it really encapsulates what was happening outside that day, and it also really went well with the flowers and stuff that we had picked too.
And it's so it's moody. Moody edit, which is, I feel perfect. It was just so, I have to say too, the ceremony length was perfect.
10, 15 minutes, right?
I literally hate going to a wedding when you sit there for so long that your butt hurts and you're when does this end? It's dragging on and on. It was a perfect length ceremony. It had everything it needed to and nothing extra. And we were all talking about that when we walked back up. We were like, that's perfect, because let's get to the party. I
know. Natalie and Cadence was really similar too.
Yes.
They did a little bit of I think they did a unity ceremony. They did sand or something.
Yeah.
Or I don't remember what it was. But they did something, and it was a little bit longer, but it was still cute because you could hear the story behind what they were doing and everything.
Yes.
But it was short, sweet, to the point. I mean, who else expected anything different from us? Because literally 9 years in the making, I was over it. Let's
go, baby. I know. Nat and Cadence was the first wedding I've been to that I actually thought oh, thank God. That was a perfect amount of time. It was beautiful. I cried. I loved it, and it's over. And let's go inside. It's perfect. Yes. Love.
So then we all went in and we started getting ready for dinner and stuff. And I know that your situation was a little bit different than mine, because I went back into the bridal suite. So I would love to hear from your point of view what kind of happened after you were dismissed from the ceremony, because I haven't heard from anybody what happened in there.
Okay. So after the ceremony, everybody, the bridal party's gone. Marissa's gone. They all get back inside. We all get up from our chairs and start walking up the hill to the big barn area.
Barn.
Yeah, huge barn. And we took that upon ourselves as an opportunity to take our photos on our phones, actually, that we wanted. So we took some pictures outside, pose, whatever, went in, found our seats, and then they immediately, I don't know who told us this, people that worked there, somebody was hey, the bar's open, go ahead and start getting drinks and grab, there was the stuff that you guys had, the hors d'oeuvres. So they just had it set up a little buffet. So we just all went in, we got our little plates of snacky kind of stuff. I honestly can't remember what there was. There was the chestnut, bacon wrapped chestnuts.
Did you try it?
Yes. And actually, I have a really funny story. I'm about to exploit everybody at my table.
Okay.
There was that. There was a guac dip or something. What was that?
Yeah, it was a avocado bacon crostini.
Oh, yes,
That's
yes,
the
yes.
fancy
Because it had
name.
the little breads. Yeah, it had the little breads and all that stuff. So we got our plates, we got our drinks, and then we sat down and started talking with our family at our table. So our table was just Angelo's immediate family, which was really fun, because also it was a nice opportunity for us to get together, because we don't always see each other.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there. It's Vernita and her girlfriend Lauren, who are officially dating. Sorry to exploit you two on the podcast. Officially dating since August, and they never told us. Oh. How rude. So anyways, Vernita and her girlfriend, and they're sitting next to me. And then there's Dominic, and we're the first people back at our table. So it's just the four of us. We're waiting for everyone to come back. So we're all eating the food, and we're ooh, these are so good. We didn't say what it was, the bacon wrapped water chestnuts. We were just ooh, these are so good. And Grace was I've never had these before. It's so weird that they have a potato in the middle. And I was oh yeah, that is so weird. I just went with it, because I was that is not a potato. And me and Lauren look at each other in a way that we're we know that that's not a potato, but we're going to let her eat it like that.
But
so then
also,
Dominic,
it does not feel like a potato when you bite
she literally
into
thought it was a raw potato ball. A harder, raw potato ball. I don't know.
Okay.
So she thinks it's a potato, which is cracking us up. And we're just yeah, it is. It's so good, right? And it was her first time having it, obviously. So then Dominic sits down, and he's got it on his plate. And he's what is this again? And we're at this point, we're just like, oh yeah, it's like a potato wrapped in bacon or whatever. And it has like, you know, some sauce, like a little flavor to it. And he's like, okay. At this point, Grace has figured out that it is definitely not a potato. And we are making fun of her so hard. But for the bit, we just keep telling Dominic it's a potato until he finishes eating all of them. And then we tell him that it wasn't a potato. And he's like, what the hell, you guys? Like, that is so annoying because Dominic's picky. So we're like, if we tell him it's a potato, I think he'd be way more likely to eat it than if it's a water chestnut. So then he's eating it, whatever. Angelo comes and finally sits at the table and he's like, I'm so excited for the bacon wrapped water chestnuts. These are my favorite. And Dominic goes, what?
Water chestnuts?
What's a water chestnut? What are you talking about? And we all just die laughing. We're like, it's not a potato. So anyways, that was a really random tangent, but half of Angelo's family thought that it was a potato and not a water chestnut. And I thought that was so funny.
Good, and I hope that they loved it.
They were so good. And I usually I always say I don't like those, but I am a person who will say I don't like a food I've never tried, which is really stupid. I'm one of them. And I have had them before, but actually they were really good. I ate like a couple.
Well, they had like a really good sauce on them too.
They did.
So I think that was helpful.
That makes it. Yeah, if it's just bacon and the water chestnut, it can kind of be bland. But I thought those were really good. So yeah, we sat down at our table. We all ate our little snacks. We're getting drinks from the bar. And then we're just literally just hanging out, talking, waiting for the next thing to happen.
Yeah.
So that's our side.
During that time, we were just kind of sitting back there. We had the like wait staff bring us like a plate of the different like foods and stuff. And they also brought us our first drink. So we were just chilling out back there. And we had a couple of people like come back and say hi, like family and stuff that hadn't been at like the before stuff.
Yeah.
And so we took some final photos with them and everything before we like walked back in. And then we walked out to the outside of the barn, lined up, and we did our formal introductions, which was so cool. And I think I did a really good job picking the songs.
Yes, it was so fun. I have to shout out Caden, Big K, because him and his, who did he walk with? I can't remember actually who it was.
My friend Danielle.
Yes. Oh my God. Their entrance was so funny. Everybody did a great job. It was just a fun time.
Mm-hmm. And then me and Kyle walked in, and ours was so boring because we didn't plan anything to like walk into. And I almost whacked him in the face with my bouquet, which is so funny. I have to send you the video so you can look at it. And then we went immediately to sit down, and we were served dinner, which I think was the perfect way to like kind of go through everything, because a lot of times they'll go right into dances after the introductions, and I was like, no, I'm hungry, I don't want to wait. So we sat down, we all got like food and stuff, and we got to go up first, of course, to get our food. And we went, got our food, we kind of chilled out, we talked to some people. And then we did toast before dances. Yes. Because we were like eating, and I thought that made sense in the timeline. And I sobbed at like all three of the toasts. They were so good. Good.
Yeah. I will say, like, we definitely actually did cry at the toasts too. Like Dakota's, we didn't as much. It was just like fun. And he's good. He's good at like
he started almost crying, and that got me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. He's good at talking. Yes. I know what you're talking about. He's good at speaking, I feel like, to a group. And so his was really like just good to watch. And then your bridesmaid speeches, oh my God, I feel like Hunter, she had everybody laughing, which was a good start.
She was like the funny one, and I think that was good that I put her first. But
me too.
Courtney literally made me sob.
We were all sobbing at Courtney's. It was just so perfect. She was so like, she's just such a sweet girl. And then she just like put the words together so perfectly. So I was like, it's a perfect balance having Hunter make everybody laugh, and then Courtney literally closing it out and being like, everyone's sobbing. Like everyone's crying. It was so sweet.
It was perfect.
So perfect.
Courtney is like the worst person to listen to when her voice starts breaking, because like her voice like cracks. Like you hear some people's voice start like breaking when they're getting ready to cry, but hers like goes, and it's so tough to listen to her talk whenever she starts crying. And that was like the third time I've ever experienced that happen. Like when she's in the middle of telling like a story or like saying something, and her voice starts to crack, and like it really got me, and I started sobbing. And so we just went through and wrote our thank you cards last night, because we had finally gotten a chance to like sit down and write them all. And in her thank you card, I was like, I cannot wait until you get married so that I can make you sob during my speech. Literally. And then I wrote at the bottom, she has an older sister, and I was like, sorry, I'm stealing her place.
They were perfect speeches. Like, I just can't. It was so good. But yes, everyone at our table was definitely crying by the end of it. We were like, that was so sweet. Like, I can't.
I love them all so much. So then after speeches, we went into cutting the cake so everybody could get dessert before the dancing began.
Yeah.
And we did the cake. Honestly, I had like no sweets that night because I was
either,
like
actually.
So full.
Yeah.
But we got to bring home some of the like cupcakes, and then my
Nice.
mom's bringing our cake this week when she comes.
Fun.
She's like kept it frozen, which that means it's
Yeah.
gonna suck, but who knows? We might be able to try
That's
it a
cute,
little
though.
bit.
Yeah.
And then we went immediately from getting cake into dancing. So we gave everybody like the 20 minutes to kind of sit down, eat their cake, and then we went into dancing. So we started with Kyle and his mom, and they did their dance. And then we went into me and my dad. And I don't really know what happened during Kyle and his mom's dance. I was kind of distracted, I think.
Yeah.
But during mine, my dad, he chose the song, and I looked over and I saw my mom, and she was sobbing,
Yes,
of course.
your mom was an emotional wreck. In the
She
best
was an
way.
emotional
She
wreck.
was so happy though. I looked at your mom. I did the same thing that I did with Kyle during the wedding with your mom. I looked at your mom and she looked at me, and I was just like, love you, girl. Like, I feel like we all got so close with your mom over the weekend, and your dad too, which was really cool because we're going to be hanging out a lot.
Yeah.
But just your mom, she'll just talk with anybody. Like, she's so nice, and she'll just like talk with anybody that comes up to her. But I feel like we all got really close, and every time she was crying, she just looked at us and she's like,
I know. And she was like, I can't keep it. Like during the rehearsal dinner, she was like literally an emotional wreck, and she was like sobbing. And I walked up to her and I was like, Mom, you can't keep crying because it's a happy time and I don't want to see any tears. And everybody thought I was being mean to her, but like she knew I meant it in like a tough love, sarcastic kind of way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just like our relationship.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, you're being so mean to her. I was like, she gets it. It's not actually me being mean. It's just like, I was like, Mom, you can't cry anymore because then I'm going to cry and then nobody's going to look cute.
literally. I know. She was so sweet.
I know. And so during my dad's dance, I kept like talking to him about like how she was crying, and I was like, I thought you were going to cry a little bit. And he was like, I really thought I was going to too, but I'm just so happy. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet.
Your dad is
and
like the sweetest, kindest little man I've ever seen.
I know.
Like, we were all talking about that. We were like, Marissa's dad is just so sweet. Like, he's just chilling on the sidelines, watching everybody support it, and he's so nice.
I know. And that's what he did too, because he does not dance like ever.
Yes.
And so he would literally just stand. There was like a bar separating like the tables from the dance floor,
That
and he
was
just
perfect.
stood at the bar the whole night watching everybody dance.
That would have been Angelo if he didn't get drunk. But yeah,
So
that was
funny.
so cute. He's so nice.
Yes. And so we did our dance, and he would like start singing the song to me a little bit, and I knew that was going to make me cry, and I think he knew that too. So I kept like talking about like all the things that was happening, and we just kind of like talked and like had a little conversation while we were doing our dance. And then Kyle came over and we did our first dance, and it was so cute. And honestly, I feel like he played our song a little bit too long, but that's okay. We said to fade out at appropriate point, which I think is really hard if he doesn't really know the song. Yeah. But I think that our was just played a little bit too long, which is okay.
No, it's good.
And then we moved into the party. And I can tell you by everybody's rates and reviews of our dance party that it was the most fun dance floor that they had ever had at a wedding, and the best wedding that they had ever been to. That's like, I don't want to say that like from my own point of view. Like, obviously I do, because it was really great. But that's like the overwhelming reviews that I've gotten.
Can confirm the dance floor was so fun. I wanted to
It
say
didn't
this
stop.
too. It never. First of all, they made us leave. They shut it down and they were like, "You guys have to go home." And they played closing time. That's when you know you've
that
stayed
was my
too
choice.
long. I think that was so
choice.
cute. I think that was so good because I was like, "This is such a mood." Like, you're at the bar, they play closing time. It's like, okay, we have to go.
They were like, "What's the final song that you want to play?" I was like, "Closing
time." Yes, but I did want to say this about Marissa's dance floor thing and her bridal party just in general. I wanted to say I thought it was amazing. First of all, I love your bridal party. I've said it a million times. They're the most stunning people I've ever seen. They're all so nice. But I think the best part about it is that they can dance and have a good time.
They can actually dance.
They can actually dance. But also, they did not for 1 second make anyone else feel left out. Like, it was so inclusive. It was just like, everybody make a circle. Like, we were making a huge circle. They were pulling at anyone. Julie went in the middle of the circle. Everybody got in the middle. And whenever you went in the middle, even if you did something that you felt awkward or like it was dumb, everyone was like, yeah. Like, it was so supportive of a dance thing. Like, it was not exclusive at all, and I thought that was the best part because I was like, you can tell they're making everyone feel good and everyone having fun, and that like starts with the bridal party. I feel like they set the tone. Oh,
yeah.
But you do have to say about what you guys were wearing.
I
forgot.
I
completely forgot, but you do have to mention that for it.
Okay, so I was convinced that I was going to stay in my dress all night. However, another small fiasco. It definitely did not fit me. It was a little bit big.
Dang. Yeah, it looked perfect though, so that's good.
That's because I was like literally hiking my shoulders back to keep it like staying on my chest the whole night.
Oh my gosh, that's frustrating.
And whatever you do, whatever wedding dress you get ever, it's not going to be comfortable. So mine was like really bedazzled. And if you want to see like the photos to figure it out, it's on our Instagram. It's going to be on the We Run on Coffee Instagram too. But it was like super bedazzled and it was just digging into my skin.
Oh, yeah.
And I was getting so frustrated. I just wanted to be comfortable. So I took all of my bridesmaids and took them back to the bridal room and we all changed into our matching sweatsuits and we came back out.
Good. When you guys left for a long time, we were like, where is everybody? Like the general consensus is like the whole wedding party's gone. What in the heck? Like, what do we do? And then you guys came out wearing that and everyone was like, oh shit, like the party is about to go down. Like this is crazy. It was
and
so
I was
cute.
Getting so sweaty. I was literally wearing like a sports bra and then like a zip up, like a crop, like half zip, and then a pair of like joggers. And I was so sweaty, but I was like, this is so much better.
It was
like,
a vibe.
I can't.
It was so cute. That also made the dance party so good, I feel like, though, because everybody was just so comfortable.
Yeah, I was also getting frustrated because somebody had stepped on my dress and broken one of the bustles, which like I knew it was going to happen, but it just like kept getting stepped on and I was like, I literally can't move anywhere without somebody stepping on me. So I was like, I have to change out of this.
It was perfect. It was so cute.
Yay. Okay, so that's all the wedding, I think.
Yeah, it was so fun. Yeah, they shut us down. We had to leave. We drank a lot. Like Angelo and I'm pretty sure we had at least 10 drinks apiece. I can't even believe that. Like we never drink, but apparently when we do, we went hard. Angelo was a force to be reckoned with on the dance floor after he started drinking, which is shocking because he told me, he's like, I will not be dancing. And even if I have some drinks, I won't be dancing.
Now I can't wait for your wedding because I'm just like, I'm going to be feeding him drinks so he does it again.
Marissa's like, I know. Whatever. Did you see me bring up Kyle a drink when you guys were cutting the cake? Yeah. He was like at the bar trying to order a drink and then someone was like, where's Kyle? Kyle, where's Kyle?
Cut the cake.
And he left and I was like, what do you want? And he told me really fast and I was like, okay. And I went and got it and I was like bringing it to him. That's literally going to be you.
Yes.
It's so good.
I'm going to be like, Angelo, drink.
Like, what do you want?
Erika, drink.
Literally. Yeah, that was perfect. But Angelo was so silly on the dance floor, which made it fun. Everybody had such a good time.
Yes, it was amazing. And
I danced so bad.
Wait.
I danced so much that my knees and the bottoms of my feet were like hurting. My knees were hurting because I was dancing barefoot on a concrete floor. Like I should have worn my shoes. But yeah, the next day, like my knees, just every time my knees bent, I was like, ow.
Yeah. My feet hurt so bad. Yeah. And it was like, obviously my foot hurt. I had just gotten over a broken foot, but my feet just hurt so bad from being in sandals all day and like jumping on that concrete floor was horrible.
It's true. It was so, oh my gosh, your bridesmaids really came through with me for the Olivia Rodrigo and we were all screaming. I was like, this is my best life. Like I'm living. It was the best.
It was so fun. I can't wait for the photos and the video. Too. Theoretically, we're getting the photos today. I don't know
awesome. Though. You got to make everyone at Thanksgiving sit down and watch them like on the TV or something. That'd be
so
cute.
Kyle's mom wants a PowerPoint presentation of everything. You
don't have to make a PowerPoint, but you could put them on the TV. I feel like that'd be cute.
All of the things that I'm about to tell you, you're about to hear again on probably Wednesday or Thursday because Kyle's mom wants to hear every single detail about the wedding. And like my mom does too. And my mom hasn't seen any of the photos yet.
We could just play them this episode. Like everyone sit down, here we go.
Yeah. But I'm going to probably talk about it again. But you'll be primed.
Yeah. I'll be like, Marissa, you forgot this detail. You forgot this.
I know. So the first things that we're going to talk about is our day in Rome. So
I can't believe it.
It was barely a day in Rome because the first thing that I have to tell you is that our checked bag was delayed 5 hours.
I saw, so Marissa sent me an album of photos that I looked through and I saw the one Snapchat and I was like, I wonder what this means. Like I didn't get the context. Oh my God. No way.
Yes.
5 hours. And how long did you guys have till you needed to like have it?
We had a whole day. So we had planned, we got there a day early. So we were going to stay there the night and then get up and go to the like port the next morning.
Right.
So we got there around 11:30 and then our bag was supposed to get there at 1:30 because that's what they had told us. It didn't get there until like 5:30.
How do you know why? Like, how did that happen?
They put it on the wrong plane.
No.
Yeah.
I would die, especially knowing that you were about to get on a like boat that you can't get off. Holy crap. Okay.
Yeah, it was really frustrating. So I had to file a claim of like lost baggage or like delayed baggage with like the people. And luckily everyone in Europe really does speak English. So it was very helpful.
Okay, good. Yeah.
But we went up, we filed the claim for the delayed baggage, and then we were going to stay at the airport the whole time, but we decided that we were going to get a train ticket to go to the Airbnb, check in, kind of sit down. We had changes of clothes. We had been in our clothes for like 18, 20 hours at this point. Yeah. So we went back, we changed, we kind of sat down, and then we got a Uber back to the airport around the time. And it had ended up being delayed like an extra 30 minutes, but it was fine because it got there. I grabbed my bag, and actually I need to rewind. So the first time that we are getting ready to leave the airport, we had decided like we're filing the claim, we're getting ready to leave, we're walking out to go to the train station, and my nose starts bleeding.
Oh, shut up.
All over the place in the airport.
You were also sick, right? Or were you like fully over it? Okay.
So I was pretty much over it.
That's
just
a note about the wedding, you guys. We all got sick. And by we all, I really just mean Marissa, me, and Angelo. Like, and then Kyle, I guess, but I never heard of anyone else because we kept bringing it up to people and they were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But we were like, Angela and I were wrecked for like a week.
Yeah. I was really sick for like, I was supposed to go back to work for 3 days after the wedding. I didn't go. I went for a half day on like the Wednesday after, and that was it.
Angelo didn't go to school all week, which really sucked because that set him back. And I took 2 days off work, I think, but it was rough.
It was like, and I took many COVID tests, which of course I had just gotten my like COVID booster. So even if I would have had COVID, it would have probably been negative anyways. But I got a COVID test, I got a strep test, I got a flu test. Nothing was positive. I think I just literally had like the worst cold of my life.
Yeah, it was horrible. But anyways, so you were sick and you got a bloody nose.
Yeah, my nose starts bleeding all over the airport, and Kyle's like running up to like this, like I literally bled all over my hands. It was like dripping down my face. It looks like somebody had punched me in the face because when my nose bleeds, it like gushes and it's disgusting.
Yeah.
And so I ran to the bathroom. Kyle's like running up to these like cafes and stuff in the airport trying to get like tissues and stuff.
Yeah.
And they literally hand us stuff that's like tissue paper instead of like an actual napkin.
Yeah.
And it was horrible. So I get that to stop. I go to the bathroom. I like clean off my face, but none of the bathrooms had paper towels. So I had to like wipe my face in the sink, and I was trying to figure it out. I eventually did. So that was figured out. And then we came back, got our bag, blah, 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 blah. Now we're back on to heading back to the Airbnb for the second time.
Okay.
One thing that you need to know about Rome is that people drive absolutely crazy.
Oh my God.
It is batshit crazy. Like they are like zooming. They don't care if somebody's walking in the middle of the street. They're going to go 40 miles an hour right at the person and hope they get out of the way.
Yeah.
It is terrifying.
I'd have so much anxiety.
It was so bad. So getting in like a taxi, I was like, I'm going to die. I was convinced. Like that was my last day on earth.
Literally.
It was crazy. And then another thing that we have just like about travel in general, when we would get to the gates to get on the plane, we flew through TAP Air Portugal. Okay. So I don't know if this is the same thing for like big international airports with any kind of like airline, but with ours specifically, we would get to our gate, we would walk down, we would walk out a door, get on a bus, and they would take us to our plane.
Okay, that's interesting. My grandpa was just telling me about this last night, which is kind of random.
It was so weird.
He said that used to be a thing. He said that used to be a thing here too. I don't know if that's true, but like in the US, he said that when he would go like fly to New York or whatever, they would take a bus to the plane and just get on.
It was so weird. And like the first time that we experienced this was in the middle of the night. It was 6 a.m. Portugal time, but we had gotten on the plane at 5 p.m. and we had gone on the plane for like 6 hours. So it was like 3 a.m. or something, like, or no, it was like midnight, 1 a.m. or something, our time in our brains. Right. And so we get off this plane and we walk out of the back of the plane onto the tarmac and into a bus because they had to take us to customs.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So weird.
So we got on the bus and I was like, I literally feel like I'm like in Beyond Scared Straight and like I'm getting like taken somewhere like in the middle of the night. So like, I don't know. It was so scary.
Yeah.
It was so scary. So we went through customs, and Portugal was the only country we went through customs. When we got off the plane in Italy, we didn't have to. We just walked out of the airport, which was so weird. I thought that I was going to get arrested.
You're like, they're coming for us.
And then, of course, we went through customs when we came back to the States. But that was only 2 places. So to this date, I've been to 4 countries
That's
now.
So cool.
And
from zero?
From zero.
4 new ones. That's really cool.
4 new countries, and I only have a Portugal stamp in my passport.
Oh, yeah.
Which is so silly.
That is kind of silly, but that's so cool that you guys got to go to so many new places at once.
I know. So we then got on the boat, and our boat was delayed by like 4.5 hours leaving just because they had like a certain issue that they were dealing with. Yeah. But it was okay because our next day was at sea. So we were able to like, they said that they like had both engines running full speed, and they were like getting us there. And they were like, normally we obviously don't do both engines going full speed, but they were like, we're doing it to get you guys there. And we ended up getting to Santorini, our first stop, only about an hour and a half late, which was great. They were able to make up so much time. Oh my gosh. For Santorini, here is my recommendations / what we did. Yeah. So it says, get the shuttle boat from Fira to Ia and the bus combo for only 30 euros. Oh. So we ported at Fira, and we got on a boat that took us over to Ia, which is just a town that's known for like the blue roofs. Yeah. And then we got
your dress. Your dress was the matching color of Greece.
I did that on purpose.
It was the pictures were so good. I knew immediately. I was like, oh my God, it's the perfect color. It was so cute.
So then we spent like a couple hours in Ia, and then we got on a bus that shuttled us back over to Fira, and then we like spent a little bit of time there and then walked down to the boat again. And that was only 30 euros. And so it was really nice because we were able to see both towns and like kind of explore the island a little bit more. And you get to see 2 cities. It's a great deal. Yeah. 30 euros is like $35 US.
How logistically did you guys get euros and different money when you
went to the airport? Chase Bank here and got it before we left.
Oh, I didn't even know you could do that. Okay.
Yeah, you have to find a certain branch though, because it depends on like which ones actually carry.
That's so cool. And then
different exchange.
So you guys just got like a lot of money, and then you just took it with you. Oh, yeah, smart. I did not even know that. Wait, I'm so glad I asked. I was like, logistically, how does that work? Okay,
yeah, cool. You can do it at the airport, or you can do it when you get there. But if you go to your normal bank, it's like a pretty steady exchange rate. So it's a lot easier to just do it here. Yeah. Okay. Nice. So then next, in Ia, we got dinner there. So we sat on this beautiful rooftop, and we looked over the whole city and looked over like the water, and we saw one of the islands that was next to it. And I got a chicken fillet with crispy potatoes, and I have never had anything better to eat in my life.
It sounds good. That sounds just so classic and good.
It was so delicious.
Oh my God.
And
I love that.
We went to a couple of cute shops, but the clothing was a little bit expensive here. It was like 35 to 65 euros. So it was like $40 to $70 in US dollars. So a little bit expensive. So we didn't really get anything there. Yeah. Any questions about Santorini before we move on?
What was your favorite part? Your favorite thing you did there?
My favorite thing is the rooftop views.
It was
in the dinner.
So beautiful. The pictures were like not real life pictures. And I don't know if you knew this or not. You probably do, but most of them were live pictures. So by the way, listen to them before you show everybody with volume, just in case. I didn't notice anything, but I was like, what if there's like something? Yeah, I know. So just put them on silent when you show the rest of the family. I don't know. But they were all live pictures though. So it was so beautiful. Like the ones of the fountain, you can hear the fountain on it. I was like,
really?
Oh, I'm crying. Yeah. Yeah. It made it way more real to look at. So cool. Seeing the rooftop pictures that you guys took, and it would play like a little live thing on my MacBook, I was like, this is so unreal. It looked like one of those travel channels. Like it looked fake. It was so beautiful. So I'm jealous. I love it.
Yeah, I'll have to go back through and look at everything and like listen to
that. I know. I literally told Angela that. I was like, I'm doing a proofread for her. If I hear anything, I'm going to let her know.
I don't even know what I would have said.
I'm sure there's nothing.
I'm so scared now.
I know. I'm sure there's nothing, but it's like just something to remember. I feel like we all forget when our phones are in like live photo mode until we watch them back.
Definitely.
Stunning.
So next we went to Athens. And
Yes.
Athens is basically just known for the Parthenon and the Acropolis and all of the old ruins that are on top of this massive hill, which I did indeed walk up.
Oh,
so
yeah, this is interesting time with your foot, I feel like. On
yeah,
vacation.
we did like so much walking. Just wait till we get to Naples. We walked 7.5 miles.
Oh my
We'll
God.
get there. We'll get there.
Wow.
So in Athens, they're super, super cheap meals, but they're huge and they're so yummy.
Yum.
And they're right behind a place called the Ancient Agora. So if you ever go there, get food right behind the Ancient Agora. And the ruins are really, really cool to like see the Parthenon, see like there's like a temple for Athena. And it's all on top of the hill, and you just walk around and you see everything. And you obviously can't like walk on the actual marble or anything, but it's really cool to just go up, see everything, see what's left. They're reconstructing part of the Parthenon right now. So some of my photos, you can see like the scaffolding kind of like holding the rock together, but they are trying to kind of replenish some of the cracks and like fix it a little bit. And that was really cool, but the city itself is horrible. Ooh. It's so ugly, which
I'm dead.
I hate to say that because I know that they are like an older civilization. Obviously, it's ancient Greece, but they don't really take care of their buildings that much. They do take care of the ruins, but all of the buildings are kind of old, cracked, falling apart. The plaster is falling off of the walls.
Yeah.
And like there's so much graffiti everywhere. And I wish that they were able to just take a little bit better care of their city, which I understand it's a huge city. It's really big. I'll show you like the pictures that I'm talking about on like Wednesday or Thursday, because you don't know how big the city is until you're on top of the Acropolis and you're like, that's a million houses.
Oh my God.
It's so crazy.
Wild. It's probably such a juxtaposition of seeing Greece and how like beautiful Greece looks next to going here to the next city. Interesting.
Yeah. And then the shops are a little bit cheaper than Santorini, but they had a lot of the same stuff. And that was kind of the general theme everywhere.
Yeah.
And at this location, we did the hop on, hop off for transportation purposes, not really for touristy purposes, just because we wanted to do that instead of like trying to find taxis everywhere.
Yeah.
So we got the hop on, hop off tickets, which it was like 22 euros a piece.
Nice.
Which is really good because there's a hop on, hop off in DC that's like $65 US.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No way.
So this one being 22 euros, it's like $27 in US dollars. So it's super nice. And you get the transportation all day. So we were able to take that around to a couple of the different ruins. We got a combo pass for the ruins. We got to go to 7 ancient locations. And I think it was $6 a person.
Whoa. That's awesome.
It was really cool.
Dang.
Any questions about Athens before we go to Mykonos?
What was your favorite part of Athens?
I would say
pictures were so cool.
I would say seeing the Acropolis and seeing all the ruins.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. I just loved seeing all the pictures in general of you guys, like just being so cute in front of everything.
I know.
But,
and we didn't take very many photos of just the two of us, which I'm not upset about. I wish that we had a couple of photos of just the two of us in these locations, but it was really cool just to like have the photos of everything to show everybody.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Okay, so Mykonos is next.
Oh my
so
God.
Mykonos, we went there from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Oh,
and
not
this
peak
is
hours
really,
probably for Mykonos.
This is really not the time that you need to go to Mykonos.
Yeah.
So it's a really pretty island, and it's known for beaches, shopping, and clubbing.
Clubbing, yes. That's what I know it for, too.
Once we had gotten there, we got there on a Friday, so everybody had just gone to sleep from partying the night before. So it was really sleepy. It was like really the exact opposite of what we were expecting when we got there. And so not a lot of the shops and not a lot of like the restaurants and stuff were open, just because the culture is you stay up until 4 a.m. partying, and then you go to bed, and then you wake up at like noon.
Crazy.
So when we got there at 7, there was like not even a cafe open. And it was really weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
And we were expecting to get off and like get pastries and like get a breakfast or like get brunch or something. And we couldn't really eat until we were getting ready to get back on the boat because nothing was open.
Yeah.
So not all the shops were open, and the beaches were kind of far away. Mykonos is known for their beautiful beaches, but they were kind of far away from where we had ported. So we decided that we were just going to walk around, look at the shops, take in the scenery, and they have the windmills, which I think that you saw that photo. But the windmills are really cool. There's only like 5 of them right next to each other.
Yeah.
But it is kind of cool just to go and see like the old buildings. And so we just kind of walked away. They weren't too far from where we ported and walked around, looked at the different shops, kind of went into a couple. Kyle got a linen shirt there, but we really didn't do too much.
That seems like the right vibes for Greece, though. Your vibes. That's cute.
Yeah. And my favorite part of Mykonos was probably just the water, like just being able to see how clear the water was there, because we were like
so cool
right on the water. The whole like area that we explored was right there.
Yeah. And us Ohio girlies are more of like lake girlies. We see the grossest water all the time. I feel like that's what we're used to.
We see green and brown water.
We might as well be considered landlocked for how gross our lake is. So it's like, that's awesome.
Very, very cool to see all of that. But I would say, I don't want to say any of these are my least favorite, but I would say Mykonos is somewhere that I'm not necessarily going to go again, just because I'm not really a beach girly. I can go somewhere else and see the beach. So I would prefer to spend more time at Santorini than go to Mykonos again.
Let's go to Santorini together. That'd be so fun.
I love Santorini. That was probably my favorite place out of everywhere.
That's been on my bucket list for as long as I've known about it. That is so fun. Okay.
And we were there since the boat was late, we were there from like 2:30 to 10 p.m. and we had to get back on the boat at like 9.
Yeah.
So we didn't have too much time. And
were they all like that? All your stops, were they all like short kind of?
They were, I would say on average 8 hours.
Okay.
So not too short.
Yeah.
But with Santorini, the dinner, European culture is so slow. Like, you just have to sit down and you have to. Yeah, and so we spent like 2 hours at dinner. And we were like, we gotta go.
Yeah, we got places to be. Bring the check.
Yes.
How was in general, and it sounds like you kind of already answered this, but amongst your stops as well, how was the language barrier? Was it like almost non-existent?
Almost non-existent. There was one place, I think at the end, that I talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
But it was mostly everywhere you could walk up and just speak English to somebody.
Wild. Okay, that makes sense. And that's
or they would come up to you and speak English, and
they can
there
tell.
was a couple times where we didn't know. We would be like, do you speak English? And then they would be like, yep, and they would help us out.
Cool. Okay, that's interesting. That's something I always think about with traveling, but awesome.
So next was Olympia. And we got a round trip bus from the port. The port's name was Katakolan. I don't know how to say it. To Olympia with a stop for 2.5 hours in Olympia. So we got the bus. It was about 30 minutes of driving to get from the port to Olympia. We got the 2.5 hours there and then about a 30-minute drive back. So it was 30 euros total for that bus round trip, which is pretty good. That's what we used for transportation. The majority of the time was just like round trip kind of things.
Yeah.
And the 2.5 hours was a little bit quick to spend in Olympia, because that was one of the places that me and Kyle like wanted to read every plaque that was out.
Yeah.
Because it's where the first Olympic Games was held. I find Greek mythology so interesting because like it's truly like a religion there. Like they believe that these people are their ancestors. And I'm like, who's saying they weren't? Like who's saying that Zeus wasn't real? Like, I don't know. And I'd love to like hear about it and learn about it. But me and Kyle both agreed that we wish that there was about 3 or 4 hours of time there rather than the 2.5. So we could have taken our time looking at everything.
Yes, Julie, Angela's mom, she is trying to plan, but she's been trying to plan this, but COVID happened, a trip there for her class because she teaches exercise science and can kind of like relate that back to the first Olympics, the whole thing. And so she was telling us, she was like, if I do that with my class, do you guys want to go? And I was like, duh, why would I say no, Julie? Like, of course.
I'll go back.
So if that happens, I'll hit you guys up because that would be really cool. I don't know if you've ever heard of EF Ultimate Break. They're like a travel company. EF means education first. So they do these trips for people that are like 18 to 32 or something. There's like an age range to do it. And you just pay them like $1,000 or whatever. And it covers like your airfare, some of your meals, tours, whatever. And you get a tour guide who knows who's bilingual or trilingual or whatever and takes you around. So she said she's going to do it through the company. So if she does it, we could all just go. We can just show up on her trip.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, and we could definitely like show you like where to go.
Yeah, then you can get more time too to read your plaques.
Yeah,
as you need.
So the places that we do have that are must-sees is like the ruins, obviously. Go to actual Olympia. The bus will take you right there, this bus that we got on. So that's nice. They take you right to downtown Olympia. You get off, you walk like a half a mile over to the ruins. And this place, you also had to get like a ticket to get in to the ruins and also go into the museums that they have there. But it was free because we went on a Saturday. Which I don't know if that's every weekend that they have free admission, but we went up to like the ticket booth and they were like, oh, free. And then they just like waved us on and I was like, oh, so interesting. This is really cool. Nice. It was like $5 a person. So I was willing to pay it, but I was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
That's nice.
So we walked around. We just kind of looked at everything. It was interesting to see because they had areas where you could see like the rocks that used to be like the outline of the pool. Wow. And like where they would do like, they had like hot tubs and stuff, like hot pools is what they had like called them for them to like relax and recover in. But then they also had like the Olympic sized pools.
That's nuts.
They also had like the gymnasium of like where they would do like all the indoor activities.
Bro, that is so hard to imagine. Like, that's crazy.
And it was really hard to see because the majority of it was just foundation that was like left in the ground. So you could only see like the layout of it. But they had these plaques that had recreations of
that's cool.
like what was built there. Yeah. And they also had the Temple of Zeus there, which was really cool. And that's one of the ones that is still kind of, the majority of it is still there.
Wow. That's awesome.
But the most like important thing to see when you go there is the stadium because you walk in kind of through a tunnel, which is so interesting. Like it's kind of what we think about when we go to like a basketball game or a football game. Like people run through a tunnel and that's what they had here. And so you would like walk in through this tunnel and you would see like this patch of gravel right down the middle. Yeah. And it was huge. And you just saw like the grass go up, like kind of like a bowl, like what you think about for like the Ohio State like stadium, like the shoe. Yeah. Like it goes up around the sides, but there was no seats in it. Yeah. And I can't tell if that was because they had been covered by like erosion or if there just wasn't seats in general.
Like lawn seating.
And you just stood there. But they said that it was it had a capacity of 45,000. So just imagine how big that is.
That capacity, I think, is about the same as the Bengals Stadium.
Really?
Actually, yeah. When I went to Era's tour, I was looking at the thing, and I think it said like 45,000. So putting that in perspective, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Think about how old it was.
It was just
like,
grass.
That's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we went into the Olympics Museum, and they were only allowed to have men watch the Olympics way back in the day. So just imagine 45,000 people capacity, and it was just men that could come from the area to come and watch.
Actually, never mind. I don't like imagining it. I'm just kidding. Like,
it was just so interesting.
No, that's so wild just to even think about how old that is.
Yeah. Wow. And we were looking at the Olympic Museum just to like learn a little bit more about how like the events got added into the Olympics, because even like, I don't know if you've heard, but like this next Summer Olympics that's next year, they added like 4 new sports to it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They're still adding sports to like this day. Crazy. So it was cool to see like what the original events were.
Yeah, that's wild.
And they had a specific area that they had to train in, which is still true to this day. Like there's Olympic training facilities. Yeah. But it was like all in Greece, and you had to be like a royal to like train and stuff. And I could be getting this wrong, so definitely do your research. But like they had to like go like 30 miles away to go and train at a separate facility and then come there. And then that's where they would train leading up to the games.
Dang.
It was really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. I need to go.
And then lastly, in downtown Olympia, we got a pork gyro pita, and it was €3, and it was so good.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Angela would literally die.
It was $3, and it was so good.
Yum, that sounds good.
So next is a country that you probably have never heard of. We went to Malta.
Okay, I've heard of it only from you.
Okay, so it's just a little island. It's like a culmination of like 4 little islands, and we went to a town specifically called Valletta, and it's just like their major port, and it was so cool. So this country was the only one that we went to that was people driving on the opposite side of the road.
Oh, because yeah.
Not everywhere in Europe do they do it, but this country used to be owned by Britain, and so they all drive on the opposite side of the road.
Crazy.
And that was a really, really weird experience because we got in a bus and we got in an Uber that we were like on the wrong side.
Oh, that feels so weird.
It was so weird. When we got in the Uber, I was literally sitting in the front where I should have been driving, and I was like, where am I?
Oh,
like, I was like, where's the steering wheel?
Yeah. Oh, that is jarring.
It was so interesting, but it was so cool because this country is like right off of like the boot of Italy. Like it's really close to Sicily, but it's also the only country in between Italy and Africa. So it was like, it was a really weird, not weird. It was just a cool culmination of culture there.
Yeah, that's
cool.
So
all of the words on the signs were written in English, but some of the street names looked like Arabic.
Oh,
like what you would think like Arabic names would sound like. And I was like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Kyle about it, and he was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like Northern Africa has a big like Muslim population, and a lot of them speak Arabic. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like a lot of them could be like living here. But then also they all spoke with like an Italian accent, and their language, which is Maltese, it sounds so interesting because it sounds like nothing you've ever heard before.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was very interesting. And they had very pretty old buildings and churches, but because it's an island, they had a beautiful beach. And I actually got to go into the Mediterranean Sea.
I was going to ask if you ever got to swim.
I didn't swim. I just put my legs in.
Yeah. How was the weather in these places, by the way? Like, was it pretty warm? It was
like mid to high 70s in all of them.
Oh, nice. That's like perfect. That sounds nice.
And I definitely didn't pack properly because I was like wearing like pants at like every location and I was sweating. So
yeah. Okay.
Definitely check the weather a little bit better than I did.
No, that's so good though. I know, because when you were wearing the exercise dress in the one pictures, I was like, ooh, I guess it's warm. I just didn't even weather never crossed my mind thinking about it.
Yeah, I only had 2 exercise dresses and I like kept re-wearing them as best as I could because I didn't want every picture to be in the same 2 dresses, but it was the most comfortable thing that I could wear.
Yeah. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. I can't believe you got in the freaking sea.
I know. And it was so clear, but I do have a little horror story.
No. Okay.
So I was standing in the water, and at a lot of these places, we had met a couple on the boat and we had kind of like traveled around with them. I was going to ask you
that. Yeah. I know that happens like on trips like this.
Yeah, we had met a couple from Canada and they had just gotten engaged, and this was like their engagement trip that they had decided to go on.
Bougie.
And
Love
I
it.
know. And so we were just kind of walking around with them, and the girl was a nurse, so she really like talked well with Kyle. And then the other, her fiance was, he used to be a firefighter, but now he works in like fire sales. Like he sells like equipment for fire stations and stuff. And so we were talking to them, and I was like, oh, this is like perfect. Like it's kind of
totally relates,
same
like
kind of
justice category.
It was really cool. And they were like 25 and 27, so they were around our ages.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But we all went into the ocean, and Kyla went to go and sit down, and it was the other couple standing in the sea with me. And I was like, oh my gosh. And they were like, what? And I was like, I think a jellyfish just bumped into my leg.
Yeah.
And so we looked down, and sure enough, it's one of the clear jellyfishes.
Yes, I've seen them.
I saw it just kind of floating. It didn't sting me, but it just bumped into my leg, and I was like, all right, I'm done with the water. I gotta go.
Oh my gosh. That's wild.
I know. So we ran away and we went and just sat, and we were only at the water for like 30 minutes because it had taken us forever to get over there. We were doing a hop on, hop off, but it was horrible. They like didn't go to all the stops that they said that they would go to.
That stinks.
It was €25 a piece. So it was like similar to the other prices, but it wasn't efficient and didn't go to the stops that they said they would. And it just wasn't working out well. So that time we ended up having to get an Uber back because they were just not going to make it back to our port in time, which unfortunately we had to pay for the Uber on top of the bus, but it was okay. And I definitely want to go back because the part, like the beach that we went to, there's a Radisson hotel right next to it. And it was only like €120 a night.
Oh, wow.
Which is like so $150 US, but it's on the sea.
Yeah.
Like at the beach.
Awesome. Oh.
So super, super affordable compared to like what you would think of getting like a beachfront hotel here.
Yeah. Making note. Okay.
Yes. So, and it's such a small place that you can like definitely explore it in like a couple of days. So
fun.
Definitely worth it. So next we went to Sicily, and the specific town we went to was Messina. And my favorite part about Malta was the like seeing the beach and going in the ocean.
Yeah, that's amazing. Did you guys like connect with the Canadian couple, or are you just going forever? Like, did you guys connect on Instagram or anything? Or
she followed me on Facebook, but we haven't
nice.
talked
That's
at
so
all
cool
since.
Though. It's just like a thing that you'll remember. That's cool.
Yeah. And then in Sicily, they had fountains and churches that were really beautiful. We got a yummy cannoli because you have to. Cannolis were made in Sicily. And then it wasn't really too much. This place was honestly pretty boring. We just kind of went and got a cannoli. We got some like lunch and then we got back on the boat.
Fair enough.
I think we were honestly just getting really tired by this time. So we started slowing down a little bit.
Yeah. But you were adopting the European lifestyle. You were slowing down.
Yes, but it was good. I would say they had a really cool clock tower there, and at noon they do this like 15-minute presentation with the clock tower.
That's cool.
It has like moving parts and like a song and everything, and it's really cool. So I would definitely say if you go there to go to this clock tower at noon, but that was about it.
Yeah. Wow.
And
that's cool,
my favorite part was probably the cannoli.
I love that. That's so relatable though.
Yes. So we only have 2 more stops left.
Oh my gosh. I'm obsessed.
Next is Naples.
Yes.
And this is let me make sure I'm talking about the right thing. Okay. So Naples was the place that we went to on Halloween.
Oh, no way. I didn't even think about that.
We saw some kids dressed up walking around, which was kind of cute.
That's cute.
But it wasn't like anything crazy. Like obviously U.S. culture is a little bit more.
No U.S. frat party on Halloween.
Yeah, it's no crazy, you're right, frat parties on the streets. But cool. It was a really good town to walk around. This is the place we walked over 7 miles. We just were done paying for transportation. So we were like, we're not doing this anymore. We're just going to walk to where we want to go. Yeah. So since it was Halloween, I really wanted to do something spooky.
Of course.
So we found that in Naples, they have a couple of systems of catacombs.
Ooh.
So we bought tickets to go to the San Gennaro catacombs. Yeah. And I think that this was the smallest of I think they have 3 systems. This was the smallest of them. And we wanted to go to another system, but we ended up running out of time. Yeah. And it started raining, so we didn't really want to walk anymore. Yeah. So we just went to the San Gennaro catacombs, and I have a lot of pictures. I'm not sure if you saw those ones.
But I looked at every single 573 photos or whatever. So good.
They took us through and they told us like the history. So there's 3 different kinds of catacombs in this one, or 3 different kinds of like tombs, I guess. Yeah. And so they had like the ones on the floor, which were like for the poorer families. They had the ones that were up in the walls that were for the richer families. And then they had the ones that were like, you think of like a mausoleum now, like a family mausoleum, like people that are richer will get like a mausoleum for their whole family. And that's kind of what this was. Like it was for the royalty or for the different saints that had died and wanted to be buried in these catacombs. So they had like different, like, do you know what a fresco is?
No.
It's like a painting or it's usually a painting of a face. And it's like kind of used to memorialize, or it's like somebody that they looked up to. So a lot of the saints that were buried here, it was like whoever they saw their patron saint as.
That's kind of cool.
Was like painted on the wall above them because they had like showed loyalty or showed like love to them in life.
That's really cool.
And yeah, it was really cool. And those were for like the royalty, like I said, like for the richest of the rich. And so we were able to walk around and kind of see how that worked. And in one part of the catacombs, it was like 2 or 3 parts. They had made them into churches during World War I or one of the world wars. And they had made the catacombs into churches and into bomb shelters and stuff. So you could see the areas where the churches were and how they had kind of like hollowed out the ceiling to make it more like cathedral-esque. And they had an area where there was a pool that was a baptism pool in this like area, and it was really cool to see. And then after that, we had walked over to St. Elmo Castle, and it was really cool, but it was really hard to navigate. We had paid like $3 for a ticket to get in, and we were only able to walk through like the barracks of where like the army would have kind of come together to keep the castle safe. And we got up to the top, and there was like a courtyard area on top, and I knew that there was an area inside, but I could not figure out how to get into it. And it was raining, so we didn't really want to walk into the courtyard and get wet. We had our like rain jackets on, but we were kind of getting frustrated. And so we just kind of walked back down. We went and got pizza though.
Oh,
and
yes.
In Naples, that is where margarita pizza was born. And so I got the best margarita pizza ever.
I did. I think I saw a picture and oh my God,
it was
I'm jealous.
So good.
That's amazing.
And so actually last night, Kyle and I went to this restaurant here that's Neapolitan pizza, which is what Naples pizza is. And it was so close to what we had in Italy.
Oh wait, that's so awesome. That's so cool that you can really have the real comparison.
Yeah, because Kyle got it was called a classic pizza, but it looked like a margarita pizza. Yeah. And when he ate it, he was like, he doesn't say anything until I try it, and I was like, that's really good. Yeah. And he was like, it tastes like what I remember your pizza tasting like in Naples. And I was like, I think so.
That's so funny. We do that too. We both try it, and then we look at each other and we're like,
the real reaction comes out. And in Naples, I would say that my favorite part was probably the catacombs and then the pizza.
Cool. Of course, the pizza.
It was so good. So now the last stop. I do have a couple more notes after the last stop, but this is the last notes about an actual location.
Place, yeah.
So we went to Livorno, which was the name of the port, but it's better known for being the connecting area to Pisa and Florence. Yeah. So we didn't want to go to Florence because it was about 2 hours by train. So we wanted to just go to Pisa and kind of spend our last day I don't know, just going around, being kind of slow. And we had originally meant to do this day alone, but we actually ran into the Canadian couple at a bus stop.
That's fine.
When we were getting ready to get on the bus. So we ended up spending the whole day with them here.
That's awesome.
And we took the bus and a train and another bus over to the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Bus, club, another bus, club, another club.
It was so crazy, the way you had to get on the transportation to get places. But the buses were free, and then the train tickets were $3.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was super easy. So we went over to the Leaning Tower, and it was pretty cool. It was just of course, you look at it, and you take a photo, and then you walk away.
I will say, I told Angelo this because I was showing him the pictures, but of course, he's not having the attention of me looking at every single one. So I went really fast, but I stopped in the wide angle photo of you guys in front of the tower was my favorite picture of almost all of them. I thought that was so cute.
Well, I think that the wide angle really helps because you can see the actual angle of the tower, and you can see how tall it is, too.
Yes, and it made you guys look really tall, too.
Thanks. I know some of those photos with the wide angle, I was like, I have legs.
Literally. I was like, dang, I would have no idea how tall Marissa is if I only ever saw her on Instagram.
No,
I'd
exactly.
Have no clue.
If you just saw those photos, you would think that I'm 6 foot tall.
So tall. Yeah, it was so cute. That was my favorite picture. So love that.
But at this place, they had a bunch of good food, and we actually, the woman that was a part of the Canadian couple, she was celiac, so she couldn't have gluten.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of trying to find places that she could eat as well as we could.
Yeah.
And we found a bunch of good food for her and for us. They had an entirely gluten-free restaurant. Everything was gluten-free there. And so she went and she got her first ever tiramisu, and she was freaking out because it was so
cool.
good.
Yeah.
And I got what did I get? I got a gnocchi meal, and I also got this pesto
I think I saw a picture
pasta.
Of that. Yeah.
The pesto pasta that looks like worms is so good.
Yes, me and Angelo actually literally stopped on that, and we were like, that looks gross, but I'm sure it's good.
It was delicious. That was the best pasta dish I had had.
Yum! That's amazing.
And then the gnocchi was fine. It was okay. It was just gnocchi.
Enough. Yeah.
But Florence was over 2 hours by train, so we didn't want to do it while we were there. Yeah. However, we started to head back to the boat early, and we had to get a train ticket, and everybody decided to listen to me, and we ended up going the wrong way.
Oh, no.
So we actually ended up almost going to Florence. We were the train stop before Florence because the train that we got on only had 2 stops prior to getting to Florence. So we had gone about an hour and a half out of our way.
Oh no. Did you guys realize immediately pretty much?
We noticed after we saw the name of the first stop, and I was like, can we just check? And I made Kyle look at his phone because mine didn't work, and he was like, we're going the wrong way.
Did you guys end up cutting it really close to getting back on the boat?
We had 45 minutes to spare.
Okay.
But wait, we're close. Not done because we got off of the train at the next stop. We realized we got train tickets for another train. So we got on the first one, and we had to switch trains to a connecting one to get back to the port area.
Okay.
So we did that. We get to the connecting train.
So much logistics.
I know. We got to the connecting train, and then our train was delayed 20 minutes.
No.
And if we would have waited that whole 20 minutes, we would have only had 25 minutes to spare getting back on the boat. So we ended up getting a taxi, and we spent $80 on this taxi. But luckily, we were with the other two people, so we only spent $40 on this taxi to get back to the boat.
Yeah. Oh my God. That is so crazy.
Luckily, if we would have missed the boat, it would not have been that big of a deal because we were really close to Rome. Anyway. It was like an hour train ride to Rome. So we could have just done that and gotten there a day early or whatever. But it was nice that we were able to like get back on the boat and spend like the last day on there.
Yeah. Oh my God. Was on a boat, was there like a pool and like restaurants and all that stuff? And did you guys do that stuff?
Yeah. So there was a pool. They had a ropes course that you like hooked in. It was really cool.
That's crazy.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
And so we did that once. They had so many bars. We drank so much on this cruise. And they had a show. So I actually have this part on here. We saw the musical Six, which is about the six wives of Henry VIII. And it was really cool.
I've heard it's good. I've never seen it, but I've heard
it was really good. It's really different than a lot of musicals because it's just singing and it's just talking about like them being the wives. Yeah. Like the people there's only 6 people in the musical.
Oh, that's so
and they
cool.
don't leave the stage. Like,
wow.
It's nuts. Really cool though.
That's so cool. I love that.
So that was so fun. But they also had, so do you remember when I got the surprise bachelorette party?
Yes.
And we went to a place called Howl at the Moon, the dueling piano bar. They had a Howl at the Moon on the boat.
Wow. Full circle.
So they had it like every other night, and we went like every time. We might have missed it like once. But that's how we met the Canadian couple because when we were there, almost like there was a lot of people there, but we met 3 other newlywed couples and this Canadian couple there.
That's cute. Yeah.
So we like kind of like all just like talked, and we never really ran into the other ones again, but we just always happened to run into the one Canadian couple that we kept hanging out with.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Was all this stuff like included with the price of your cruise? Like you didn't have to pay to do the ropes course or whatever?
Nope.
Cool.
We didn't have to pay for the musical either.
Yeah, you just get to go to that stuff.
Yep, and a lot of the food was complimentary. We got one specialty dining meal, but that was included for free in our package that we had got. Okay. So all of the drinks were free. All of the food almost was free.
How'd you guys like the cruise experience? Because this was your first cruise.
I thought it was great. I think it's a really great way to sample the countries that you're going to, and then you can kind of decide, hey, I'd want to take like a longer trip here.
I love that. Okay, good to know.
And it was really nice to just have like free drinks and free food
for sure. Like
whenever
just to not
you wanted.
Worry about that piece of it has to be so nice.
Yeah, and they had like sit down restaurants. They had this place called O'Sheehan's, which was like an Irish pub. Yeah, and that was good. They had a buffet, which I liked going to the buffet just because it was easy.
Easy, yeah.
And then they had these 2 restaurants on like one of the floors of the boat they were the same, but they were like right next door to each other. So if one got full, you would just go to the other one.
Yeah,
and those ones were good. And it was a great experience.
That's awesome. And now I want to go. I want to go on a cruise.
I want you to guess how many floors the boat was.
Oh, I don't even know. Like 3?
3. It was 16.
Wait, what? I can't even picture that. I've never really been on a boat like that. So that was insane.
Huge.
Shut up. What floor were you guys on? Like
we were on the 10th floor. That's where we stayed.
I can't even fathom. My brain hurts. If you guys were watching this on video, you'd see my face being like, what the frick? I'm shook. 16 floors? Great.
I'll have to, when you get here, I'll have to show you like the boat that we were on and like show you everything that was on it because it's kind of hard to explain everything that was on it.
Yeah, I definitely want to see. Oh my God. Okay.
But in case anybody's curious, it was the Norwegian breakaway boat. So you can look up that and see what kind of things that we had.
Wow, that's so awesome.
But my last couple notes, there's a couple about the Portugal airport, and then I'll talk about the cruise notes as well. So I already talked about the musical, talked about the couple friends that we met, and talked about the dueling piano bar. Mm-hmm. They had some game shows that they would do. Fun. So we watched a couple of those too. Like they had Deal or No Deal.
That is
and so
we
funny. Watched people. That was something that you had to like buy into though. Okay. You would like buy a case, and it was interesting, but it was kind of cool. Yeah. And then the last night of the cruise, we were sitting there trying to watch this game show. It was called The Perfect Couple Game. Yeah. And we got pulled out of the audience to join it.
I love this. I feel like you hate this. That seems like something you were like,
I was excited, but Kyle was like, I don't want to do this.
I imagine that. That is exactly what I would picture going down.
And so this is what happened.
Okay, I'm ready.
There was 5 different obstacles, I guess, that we had to do. Yeah. So the first one was we got a lime. It was a cold lime that they had kept in ice. And we had to put it up the pant leg of our male partner. Yeah. And we had to push it up the pant leg, through the crotch, and out the other pant leg.
Oh, this is so funny. I love this.
And so there was 3 couples. It was me and Kyle, the Canadian couple.
Fine.
Because I said, if we get pulled up there, you have to go.
Yeah.
And so we pulled them up there. And then another couple that ended up being from Columbus.
What? Ohio?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, no way.
I know.
It was so weird.
It was so funny. So we did the lime thing. Yeah, me and Kyle won that one.
Nice. Yeah, 9 years, baby. Just get in there.
I know.
Get it done.
And so the Canadian couple, the guy decided to wear his skinniest jeans that day on accident. And she was like, why did you wear these? Like, literally can't get it up your pants.
Yeah. That is
And then the other guy was wearing shorts. So he had to, like, his girlfriend had to do it like 4 times or 5 times to, like, count for the same amount.
Oh my God.
The next one was I had to put an apple on my chest.
Yeah.
And then Kyle had to like put it between his chest as well and then roll down and get it. And the point was like for him to put his face in my boobs.
Yeah.
However, our size difference doesn't allow for that.
That's actually really funny.
Like, it was like on my belly and he like grabbed it on my belly.
Yeah. Wait, actually, I never thought about that. That's funny.
It was whoever bit the apple first won.
Yeah. Who won? Did you guys win?
Me. Me and
Kyle.
Nice. And then the next one, I have it in my notes as ladle humping. I want you to guess what that is.
Ladle humping. I literally have no idea.
Imagine me having this conversation with my mom. I called her the next day or like whenever I got service again. And I was like, listen to what we did.
We did ladle humping. She's like, okay.
So basically what he did is he had to put a ladle on his pants. Yeah. He had to like hook it through like where his like pants were in the front. Okay. And I had to hold a metal tin in front of my crotch. Yeah. And he had to hit the ladle against the pan.
No.
And it was whoever got like
even what I would
so
have guessed.
many.
Yeah. This is so funny.
Again, we won that one. However, they forgot our number. And so they said somebody else won it, which was really frustrating, but we won it.
Rude. That is so funny.
And then the next one is balloon popping in different positions is what I wrote down. So
okay.
I had to get a balloon
between you.
I had to put a balloon in between my legs. I had to run at Kyle full speed. And then I had to take the balloon out between my legs. The first one, I had to put it in between our chest. And we had to like chest bump each other. But I couldn't get it to work because Kyle literally grabbed me and was like throwing my body against his chest.
Yeah, because you're
like,
so small, he could just pick you up.
No, and my legs were like flying in the air, and I was like, this isn't working. And it took forever for us to get that to pop.
Yeah, so you did not win?
The next one was, there was like 5 different positions. Oh, okay. But we did not win this one.
Sad.
So the next one was he had to lay on his back on the ground, and I had to put the balloon on his genitalia area, and I had to bounce to pop it.
Oh my God. This is I bet was the audience like laughing so hard?
They loved it.
Yeah, like this had to be so funny to watch. I can imagine.
Yeah, and this part, like, honestly, it was just so funny, and like I didn't care.
Hilarious.
The next one was that I put it between my legs again. I had to run at him, and then I had to sit it on his lap, and I had to bounce on his lap. Oh my God! It. Yeah, that one was kind of hard too, because I had to like turn around and like sit and like bounce and try and pop it.
Oh my God!
And then the last one is that he had to turn around, put his hands on the chair, bend over, and I had to try and put it between like my belly and like his butt and try and pop it. I love the
height difference makes it even funnier.
No, because tell me why Kyle did not bend his knees at all. Literally. And I'm over there trying to like break it with my ribs against his butt. It was not working.
I'm crying.
It was horrible.
I'm picturing it and it's so funny.
But we won 3 of the 4 different things. Hey. However, we did not win because it was the audience chooses the winner and we were not the crowd favorite.
That's actually really sad. I'm disappointed.
It is really sad because we could have gotten a free bottle of champagne.
Oh, what a nice gift.
I know, but we
That's
did
so
get
fun.
like these 2 shirts in this horrible bag. The bag is already in the trash because it broke like literally the next day. But we got these 2 shirts and it says bingo yeah on them with the Norwegian Cruise Line.
Okay.
Like I don't know.
That's so funny though. I love it.
But that is everything about the cruise. And then my final points are about the Portugal airport. And this is specifically about Starbucks at the Portugal airport. And I thought that you would appreciate it.
Okay. I'm interested.
So we went to Starbucks and I got the brown sugar oat milk shake and espresso, which is like my go-to drink. Mm-hmm. And tell me why it was a million times better than the States.
Was it really?
It tasted so good. Like the brown sugar and the oat milk was just different. And it tasted so good. Different.
I'm so happy to hear that because as we know, I'm a Starbucks hater. So I would love Starbucks.
Get a European Starbucks.
I would love to try it. That sounds really awesome.
And then Kyle got a blueberry muffin from Starbucks when I ordered my coffee. And it was like a regular blueberry muffin, but it had a blueberry jam in the middle. Oh, and he said it was the best muffin he'd ever had.
Wow, that actually sounds wonderful. I'm sure it was fresher than the stuff that comes out of the plastic wrap here. I don't know if it's any different or not. But wow, that sounds amazing. Love that.
But that's my final notes. Any other questions about the cruise, the trip, the locations, the anything?
I don't think so. I'm just so excited to hear about it all. And I actually can't wait to hear about it again this week and see pictures too and just like see everyone else's reactions to it because I know that we were all waiting with bated breath for you to tell us about it. And we're like, oh, I can't wait to live it through you. So I love it. I'm glad you guys had fun. I'm glad you're back. I can't believe we've been gone, haven't talked for a month and a half.
I know.
It's literally
that's why this episode is going to be an hour and a half long. And
hope you guys enjoy.
Final thing that I have to say is I thought that I would be safe when I returned from the cruise because I was sick before and I was not. I got sick again when I got back.
I know. I messaged her the day she came back. I'm like, how you feeling? She's like, I got it again.
So I was on the plane on the way back and I kept like clearing my throat and I was like, what the heck is this about? Like, is the air just like super dry? What's going on?
Different.
And then we got off when we got here off the plane and I was like, Kyle, my throat hurts. I'm sick. And like I had started sneezing a little on the plane, which of course that's the last place that you want to sneeze. Yeah. And I didn't have a mask on and like I couldn't get a mask to put on when I was like 35,000 feet in the air. And so I was just sitting there like kind of like trying towards Kyle the whole time, trying not to like breathe on the other person next to me. And of course I knew it was just going to be like a cold because there was like nothing else that I could have gotten at this point.
Yeah.
And so I was only sick for like 3 days when I came back. God. And I was able to go back to work at like the normal time. Good. But I'm still congested if you can't tell.
Yes, I can just because I know what you sound like. But like that is what happens when you travel and that's the worst part. It sucks. I
think that I'm just going to be congested inevitably at this point because it's been like 6 weeks and I haven't been able to breathe normally.
Yeah, that totally sucks. But
and we can talk about this more in the next... Fun. Yes, it was so fun. We can talk about this more in the next episode, but I've been doing cycling classes and I can't breathe.
That. Yeah, I saw it on your calendar. You've been doing a lot of them.
I got a promo deal, so it's not going to be doing it forever.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, well, thank you guys for listening to this episode.
Yes,
tune into the next one if you want to hear what's been going on in our lives since the last time
recently.
We talked. Yeah, because we decided to save it for our next episode because this one was obviously so jam-packed of all the fun things with the wedding and honeymoon. Yes. And definitely follow us at We Run on Coffee on Instagram because we will post all of Marissa's awesome honeymoon pictures. I'll see if she can pull us a picture from every city, like her favorite picture from every
I'm going to try my best.
Yeah, I think that'll be cool. We'll post that on our stories. Follow us, DM us. If you have questions about Marissa's wedding or honeymoon, let us know because we can totally do more. I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, I can do an
having so much fun
episode.
Yes, like I love just talking about this stuff. So we hope you enjoy. We're going to cut it here because we've been talking forever, but we love you guys. Thank you for supporting us. And we will talk to you next time. With that, I'm Arika.
And I'm Marissa. And we run on coffee.
Bye. Wow. Our first outro back.